Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Hello, welcome to the Most Dangerous Podcast. This week it's our Christmas special. How are you, James?
Happy Christmas, you filthy animal.
Happy Christmas.
What's that from? Do you remember?
That's from Home Alone.
It is, yeah. I'm very excited. It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, can't wait. I've not started drinking yet. I thought it'd probably be best to record this first. And
I have. I'm
Have
half
you?
cut. Yeah.
You're always half cut. To be fair.
Have you been a good boy this year?
I've been all right, yeah. I've been all right. The kids haven't been happy because we've talked about in the past changing my job and being a bit poorer than I was before. So
Yeah, so Santa's not coming. You get a sack of coal.
yeah, sack of coal. But it's amazing. You realise how you realise what your importance in the family is when you haven't got enough money.
Well, coal's pretty expensive these days, I think. You probably sell
It
it
is,
on for,
yeah.
for like a fair profit.
Yeah, it's quite a good investment, some coal. But yeah, that used to be the threat, wasn't it, when you were little? You'll get coal for Christmas.
Yeah, mine was fruit and veg.
Fruit and veg.
Yeah, it wasn't coal. I think my parents probably realised that coal was like, I could sell it or something. So yeah, it was always fruit and veg. And I remember one year, we'll probably go into this, but usually I used to get like a stocking in bed,
Right.
because I used to wake up dead early. And one year I had like presents in the bottom of the stocking, but on top there was like 3 tangerines.
Oh, gutted.
So I pulled out the first tangerine. Oh, okay. And then the second, and then the third, and then it was like, Mom, I've got fruit and veg.
Santa's a bastard. Have you seen there's a YouTube video of a guy that tells his son that he accidentally sent the shopping list to Santa instead of his Christmas list?
No,
And the wee boy starts opening the presents and it's like tins of beans and ham and stuff like that.
That'd be a great Christmas. I'd love that this year, to be honest.
Yeah, a weekly shop.
A
That would
Tesco
be-
shop, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be delighted with that. So yeah, Christmas. It's a wonderful time of the year.
It is, and I suppose we're doing a bit of a special because it's Christmas Eve, and
Aye.
there's probably not many people who are thinking, "Oh, what podcast can I listen to on Christmas Eve?" Because everyone's either in the pub or busy wrapping presents.
Definitely. Yeah.
So we do a bit of a off the cuff special, I suppose, and then perhaps you can listen to it while you do cooking your Christmas dinner or whatever. So a slightly different structure this week. I think. Yeah.
There may be some people listening to it on Christmas Day on their new. Well, you don't get iPods anymore, new phones or whatever,
Yeah, on the new Atari ST.
a mini disc.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, so Christmas Day, you're in the kitchen,
Yeah.
throw a podcast on, throw
That's
this one
it.
on. Why
If
not?
you've already got there, Merry Christmas. So what does Christmas mean to you, James? I mean, I know we normally do the history of things, but the history of Christmas, I think most people know.
Yeah, you'd be surprised if people didn't know the history of Christmas.
Aye. So I'm interested, what does it mean to you?
Well, it's a funny one, isn't it? I suppose, like, it is a bit of a... It's licensed just to get pissed, isn't it? I think, you start drinking at 8:30, you get on the Bucks Fizz at 8:30 in the morning, you don't stop till you pass out after dinner. But I suppose, I don't know, I used to, when you're a kid, you really enjoy it, don't you? Because it's fun,
Yeah,
it's exciting, and, I was spoiled as a child and used to usually get everything that I wanted.
Mhm.
And I suppose as you grow up and get a little bit older, perhaps like a later teen or in your 20s, it doesn't really become anything, does it? It's just another day.
Mhm.
Perhaps spend it with your family. But I think when you have children, it kind of becomes exciting again because you enjoy it through them.
That's it, absolutely.
So, like, my best Christmases have been the ones when I was younger, and then the ones sort of in recent years when my children have been growing up.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it is a full-on piss up, and I absolutely love it. And I love the excuse of just waking up and going, do you know what, I'm going to have some champagne with orange juice in it. But I also love just the getting together and just putting the brakes on, I suppose, and putting everything on hold, and everybody's doing the same. And I know there's not going to be any work emails to attend to when I've had the day off, or or everything just stops. And I just love that sort of refresh, if you like, that breath of fresh air, just that deep breath and go, I've made it, another year, excellent.
That's it. It's closing the year, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I prefer it much more than New Year's, which I'm sure we'll come on to at a later date. But yeah, I just love the whole sort of family element of it, and it's just everyone just gets together, I suppose. It's just I think it's a necessary thing in society. This is going a bit deep, this, right? I think many people might know that before it became a Christian thing, there was a pagan festival that was sort of the end of winter, or it's like the 21st is the shortest day, isn't it? And it's like a celebration almost of like, okay, well, this is the end of the dark days, and now it's a refresh, and the days are going to start getting longer, and before you know it's going to be summer. So I think as from a human element, from society's point of view, I think it's a necessary thing to have at the end of the year, where everyone just goes, fuck it hell, we're done now, let's start again, let's have a refresh, let's do it again.
That's it. Well, what you just said about the pagans there, it's really interesting. I've never actually thought about that, but back thousands of years ago, the winter was all about survival. It was stock up your food, let's get through this winter, see how many of us are still alive the other side of it. And the shortest day of the year is the depths of the winter, but they know after that date things are only going to get better again, there's going to be more sunlight, the crops will start to grow. So it's a really interesting point that the closing of the year.
That's the closing of the year, and then you've got the 3 days from the 21st to the 25th, which is kind of just the celebration time. You can look into this if you're interested, if you want to. And then the 25th is when you go, right, okay, let's go again. Let's redo this. And then the days start getting longer.
Yeah.
And I know that's not what it is now, but it does for me feel like that, where you kind of just take that breath and go, right, okay, we're all right here. We're doing all right. How about you? What's Christmas mean for you then?
Christmas, a lot of what you said. I mean, I'm not a religious person. I don't see Christmas to me as a religious festival. I respect everyone that does see it as a religious festival. But to me, just like you said, to me, Christmas is that sort of time where everyone takes a break, everyone sort of switches off. And I know some people do work over Christmas, but they don't have the same sort of pressures as that. They get home at night and it's stick on a Christmas film. Do you know what? Let's not do that tonight. Watch a movie. Let's have a drink. And Christmas Day, certainly in the UK where we live, and a lot of countries, it just shuts down for a day, and it's wonderful.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah, I love it. And I'm quite lucky in my work, in that my whole sort of industry shuts down for a week. So I finish sort of a couple of days before Christmas, and I don't go back in till the 3rd or 4th of January. So I have a good couple of weeks there where I just completely stop. And it's no other time in the year like that happens, unless I book it off as annual leave. But yeah, it's just, and the whole industry does as well. So when we go back, we're all in the shit going, fuck. Everyone's been off for 2 weeks, no one knows what's going on. But yeah, it's just one of those, like Christmas Day particularly, when everything, you pop your head out the door and it's silent. There's no cars on the road, and hardly any cars. There might be one or two passing or something. And that's people going to other people's houses and stuff. It's not people stressing and going to work. It's great.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time, and we've always had family businesses, and again we do tend to sort of 19th, 20th. We tend to shut down. We used to open the shops between Christmas and New Year, and it just wasn't worth it. So we tend to shut down till first couple of days in January. And with having a family business, I could book 2 weeks off in the summer and go on holiday, but I'll still get emails. I'll still get shit to deal with, phone calls, and as you know, the greatest will in the world. You can't, in a family business, no one can do the job like you. Whereas Christmas, it really does shut down, like you said. I don't get any hassle, don't care, and I can just relax and spend time with the family. And it's that sort of Christmas Day. It's God, when did I last phone Auntie so and so? When did I last phone Granny? You know, and you just sort of touch base with people. Are you all okay?
Everyone's in a good mood. You know,
yeah, that's it.
Everyone's had a beer. You know, everyone's up for a party. It's brilliant. So, tell me about your typical Christmas day then.
Well, as you know, I don't know, the listeners know, I'm what you would call a blended family.
Blended. That's very modern, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't call it that. I call us a Jeremy Kyle family. But we have, myself and Laura, we had 2 kids each when we met, and then we had our own little monster. So the sort of ritual is 1 year we have them up until Christmas Day, 5 o'clock Christmas Day. They then go to the other parents, and then the following year we get them at 5 o'clock on Christmas Day.
So you alternate.
So we alternate, yeah. So when we get them 5 o'clock Christmas Day, we do a whole Christmas Day again on Boxing Day. So they wake up, get their presents from Santa, and we have Christmas dinner.
So you have 2 Christmases potentially.
They do, yeah, they do.
Oh, lucky.
And this year we have them until 5 o'clock Christmas Day. So what we actually do is we have Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve.
Right.
Then they wake up, get all their presents on Christmas morning, but we don't have the hassle of Christmas dinner because they're going at 5, and we tried to do it 1 year, and they open all their presents. Then at 2 o'clock, you're kind of, right, Christmas dinner, let's get all that organised. Then it comes to 5 o'clock and they're going, and they haven't played with their presents.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we just have...
I mean, that's kind of a good
stuff.
way of doing it, isn't it? Because I suppose you get like a day across that period where you can just put your feet up and go, no kids, mint.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, then the kids get the best of both worlds because they get showered with loads of gifts, I imagine, you know, from both sets of parents and all the rest of it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But I don't get no respite, me. See, I just like, you know. So yeah, I mean, technically speaking, I also come from a Jeremy Kyle family, but there aren't other kids involved. I live with my children and my partner, and it's a case of it's the usual Christmas, which I'm sure millions of people experience, where it's the 3 o'clock start. So we sort of Christmas Eve, we've got a bit of a tradition where I take the kids to the pub and my partner stays at home and wraps the presents, and then I come back from the pub, and what usually happens is my partner goes, "You've been in the fucking pub all day, I've been wrapping presents, I'm not having this anymore, I'm going to bed and you're wrapping the rest." So I end up staying up till about 1 o'clock in the morning, finishing off wrapping the presents.
Yeah.
And then get woken up at about 3:30 in the morning by the children going, "He's been." When I say I take the children to the pub, I don't mean I take them for a couple of pints. I mean, we go for something to eat. And, you know, I have a couple of pints.
Yeah.
You know, take them for something to eat and just to get them out of the house, and because they're bouncing off the walls by this point.
Yeah.
So if we have a meal, it's become a bit of a tradition. We go for some pub grub, you know, the 2 for £8 or whatever, and then and then hopefully by the time we get back, they're sort of worn out and full.
Yeah.
So I always, for the past 5 or 6 years, it's usually about 3 hours sleep on Christmas Eve. So I'm looking forward to that one tonight.
Oh, it's painful. I mean, in our house, you can imagine, so there's 5 kids, right? So 5 kids queuing up with toys in those horrible plastic packaging
that you can't undo.
You can't undo. Why do they sew Barbie into the packet?
like she's got like a thing around her neck, you know, like she's been kidnapped.
I think that in China they've watched Toy Story too many times and they're kind of scared that the toys run away when they're in transit or something. But
you can't even cut them. I like every Christmas, after Christmas, I have to buy a new set of scissors because.
So we've got all the kids queuing up, bickering, wanting the next toy out and stuff, and
It's one of them, isn't it? Oh, don't open that now. No,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
need to do that now. Save it, keep it for best.
Yeah, and then there's wrapping paper, there's tiny little doll shoes and bits of shit everywhere, and
Just
that's when
chaos.
your hangover kicks in.
Yeah. I always
but-
get moaned at because, like, as soon as we get up, I'm like straight in the kitchen and I get a bin bag.
Aye,
everyone-
yeah.
And everyone goes, "Oh, here he is, the Grinch." I'm like,
It takes us about a week to wrap, and then
yeah,
we
it's
rip
done
off
in like
10 minutes.
10 minutes. It's done. I'm like,
Nightmare.
yeah.
So what about when you were young? Are there any sort of? Did your parents have like a ritual, a way that you did it? And
Yeah, I mean, I think it gets passed down, doesn't it? Like through generations. Like pretty much what I do with them is what was done to me. So
yeah,
we have a stocking for the kids. Well, this is what I used to get, like in our beds, and it would just be shit things, like a couple of pin badges and slime, like a tub of slime, maybe some stickers, like some chocolate coins, all that crap.
yeah.
And that was supposed to entertain me and my sister. So my sister's 4 or 5 years younger than me, so she'd come into me because she'd always wake up first.
Yeah.
She'd come into me, "Oh, it's me," and then we'd open those, and that was supposed to entertain us for like about 4 hours. But, do you remember those like jelly hands that are on a stick, and you like kind of like just flick them and they stick to the wall?
Left marks on the paint.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then after 4 hours, you're a bit bored of that. And then it'd be like, okay, my mum and my dad would be like, "Okay, we'll go downstairs at 8:30." No, I think it used to be 9 o'clock, which I thought was really harsh.
No, it's harsh. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering. Yeah, round about that, so 9 o'clock. It was never earlier than 8. Then we go downstairs, and then that would be like our main presents. Like I said before, we were really spoilt. We would get pretty much everything we wanted. And you'd go in, there'd be a big pile of presents, and you'd go for it. And one thing that we used to do, which we don't do here, is that we'd get Santa's presents in the morning,
Right.
and then we'd have our Christmas dinner. But then we'd get some more presents in the afternoon, but they would be from like family.
Yeah.
So they kind of divide it up. Whereas here, it's a bit like what I think maybe it's sort of mine and my partner's traditions combined, I suppose. Whereas here, it's like a free for all, and they just get everything in the morning.
Yeah.
And then like their grandparents come over in the afternoon, and then they get some additional gifts and stuff. From
Yeah, that's how we work. The grandparents then bring like another batch from them.
Yeah.
But no, when I was little, it was always my dad went down to check if he'd been, and he'd come back up and say, "Oh, he's been."
Yeah,
And,
sit down there.
Yeah.
Don't move.
Just a wee funny story. I don't know if you remember this. I asked for Championship Manager 97-98
I
for
do
Christmas
remember this.
one year,
Yeah,
and I found it in my mum's cupboard
yeah.
in like October or something.
Yep.
And tried to install it and realised that my PC wasn't good enough, and had to say to my mum, "You know that game I've asked for Christmas? I have a feeling my PC is not good enough." And she had to go and get some more RAM in it, and then install the game. And I think probably with you, we hammered the life out of this game.
We played a good full season before Christmas,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
And Christmas Day, I opened it, and my mum's like, "You're not wanting to go and play your new game?" Like, "Come on,
Completed it.
Season 4. It's fine. No, it's
I
fine.
do
I'll play
remember
it
that.
later.
I remember that. And I also remember one time we mentioned on a podcast back in early December, November maybe.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, a chap called Nicky. Hi, Nick, again. This is worthy of a mention, I think. We were around at his house, probably sort of early December-ish, and we used to play hide and seek. And I remember one time, I think it was me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I went to hide in his mum and dad's cupboard, I think, and I just sort of stepped into the cupboard. And under my feet, I just heard crunch, 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 and rip. And it was all of his Christmas presents. And I just stood on them all. Okay, so the most important moment of Christmas Day is the dinner. Of course it is. Right?
Christmas dinner. Yeah.
Everybody I mean, it's basically just a roast dinner, but everybody loves Christmas dinner, I think. I mean, I don't know. Do they? I mean, I'm not even that keen on turkey, to be honest. But what do you do? What's your kind of ritual for Christmas dinner?
Well, Christmas dinner, we have everything that you have for Christmas dinner. The normal stuff, so the pigs in blankets and you know, stuffing, the mash, parsnip, all that sort of stuff. But we don't have turkey.
Do you not?
No.
See, just before you carry on, pigs in blankets. I don't know why they aren't a thing all round the year.
I do.
They're bollocks. Like
I make them for myself sometimes. See, in the summer, we're having a barbecue. I just make pigs in blankets. Stick on the barbecue.
Yeah, it's just so weird. They're just sort of confined to this one particular day, and you don't usually have them. I mean, you can't really buy them in the shops, can you? Apart from around about Christmas time.
Yeah, it tends to be around about Christmas, but you can buy sausages and streaky bacon.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Just make it yourself. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, it's very weird. So, what do you have instead of turkey?
We have beef and ham.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we tend to get like a maple gammon joint and a roast beef joint.
All right.
So yeah, we have...
any particular reason?
It's nicer than turkey.
Yeah.
Everyone.
That's a good reason.
I mean, one year we actually cooked just a chicken in case anyone wants a little bit of that kind of meat. I think that's when we had Laura's parents. We had a few, probably about 12 of us. We did a chicken, we did beef, we did ham, did a few things, but plenty of dead animals on that table.
Yes, I know. How many people did you have around in the end?
I think there were 12 of us.
12?
If I remember right, yeah.
My place isn't as hectic as that, but we always go for the turkey because, well, it's tradition, isn't it? You've got to have it. I sort of, at some stage, I do want to get a goose.
A goose?
Because that's tradition, isn't it? That's what everyone used to be back in the Victorian times when Christmas became a thing. So, and I've never eaten goose. But I suppose I don't want to cook it and everyone hates it. So we just do that. I mean, one year we did do a duck.
Mm-hmm.
Duck, it wasn't a duck, it was duck breasts for each person. For something different, because turkey is pretty... It's a big dry chicken, isn't it? I suppose.
It is. I don't get my Christmas dinner and go, turkey. I can't wait to eat my turkey. It's the sausages.
It's all the trimmings and the roast potatoes and all that stuff. It's not the meat, is it? It's just everything that goes with it. And again, going back to what we said before, it's just everyone just being there and understanding a good meal with everybody. I know you're a bit. You used to be a bit fussy with food. So do you eat sprouts?
No, I don't eat much. I eat the turkey, the gravy.
And that's it.
The parsnips, potatoes. Parsnips, potatoes, pigs in blankets. I tend to have about 20 pigs in blankets, and then I have later on probably another 10, 12, maybe more. I'll just eat them all day.
Yeah, you dip them into your Heinz hoops.
No, do you know Branson's fruity brown sauce? Branson's brown sauce comes in a little square glass bottle.
Oh yeah. I've seen that before. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. What, on your Christmas dinner?
No, just for my sausages.
I was going to say
the Christmas dinner's got gravy all over it.
Going to phone the police then.
You can't put.
So you don't eat sprout. You don't even have one sprout. I mean, that's kind of a rule.
I honestly don't think I've ever eaten a sprout.
I think they're all right.
Laura eats them all year.
Yeah, I think they're quite nice. I mean, sometimes. I mean, Mum used to do this. She used to absolutely boil the shit out of them. So they just end up being just mushy balls of water, cabbage water. But if you cook them properly, they are tasty, man. They've got a certain flavour. It does take a bit of sort of getting used to. But it's hot. that's the rules in our house. Everyone's got to have at least one sprout
Really, every Christmas.
because it's Christmas. Yeah.
Um,
And then we move on to the pudding. And I mean, does anyone like Christmas pudding?
Laura likes Christmas pudding. She's the only one that eats it. And
Yeah.
I've already, this Christmas she's probably had several. As soon as they come out, I start buying them for her because she'll just eat them, as a nightly thing, as a pudding.
Not the mince pies, Christmas pudding. The
Proper Christmas pudding, yeah. You get little ones,
like
little
single ones.
single serving Christmas pudding.
I remember like once, right? I must have been in my mid-20s or something like that, maybe sort of late 20s, and I was like, I had no money. I was like so poor. I had about 30p in the bank or something like that. So I couldn't afford to buy myself. It was the middle of summer, right? And I couldn't afford to buy myself any food like this. I was like, I'm not even joking. I was proper like down and out. I wasn't expecting any money to come in for a couple of days. Couldn't afford even like a potato from Tesco. Like it was that poor. And I went to my cupboard, and in my cupboard there was a Christmas pudding. So yeah, I had that for my tea. It was like 15th of July or something, and I just ate Christmas pudding for my tea because I was so poor. I don't mind it. I prefer. I really like the sort of brandy cream that you put on it.
Yeah, Laura tends to get the cream as opposed to like the butter or the sauce.
Butter, yeah,
It's
like
the fresh
when you breathe
cream.
in, it kind of like gives you like a bit of a. Yeah, I do like that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like Christmas sweet things in general, really. I mean, I absolutely gorge on the dinner, and then by the time it comes to Christmas pudding, I'm just absolutely stuffed. So don't usually eat it. Then let my dinner go down, and then we have a cheese board. Is this something you do?
A cheese board? Yeah. But we recently, the other night, we went to one of the Christmas markets where they sell all the Chinese shit and pretend that it's all handmade and stuff. And we were. I just love trying the cheesies. Oh, can I try that one? Can I try that one? And we always buy, it's usually like 3 for 15 quid or something. We always buy some of the cheesies.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, it's 3 for £15. Yeah,
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
This year we got lime and chili.
Oh, all right, nice.
We got sticky toffee pudding cheese.
Okay.
And we got one that was just called like gunpowder or something. It was a really mature cheddar.
Gunpowder.
Yeah, gunpowder. It's gunpowder for my arse, I'll tell you that.
I had one last year. I think it was last year. It was like cave cheese.
Cave cheese.
Yeah, so it had been matured in some caves in Wales, and it was lovely, really good. Like in the dark, damp sort of depths, bowels of the earth. It's so a distinct flavour.
Yeah.
Not many people liked it. I did.
I like it when it's got the little gritty bits in it. That kind of real mature.
Oh yeah, Kasumatsu. Go with that. I'm getting that this year.
We always spend some time at Laura's parents' house, and her mum's always got a big slab of Wensleydale with cranberries.
I'm not keen on that actually.
No, I like it. I make a pig of myself. That thing where you're walking back to the table and you think everyone's looking at me, knowing that I've been up here 7 times before.
I just stand by the table. Yeah, just don't even sit down.
Pull a seat up to the table. But yeah, I could eat a lot of cheese and chocolate. Christmas to me, my Christmas has failed if I haven't eaten chocolate orange.
Yeah. Well, that's like we make an effort to gift each other a chocolate orange.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of our thing.
It's weird because you wouldn't buy one in June, but they're there. They're all
you can buy them all year round. They seem to go on discount over Christmas, though, I think.
Yeah.
That's probably why. Cheese board, that makes the day. And after that, in fact, you should try this year, unless you probably already done it. But that Christmas cake that you get that's really stodgy and like heavy. And I saw this on a Jamie Oliver program a few years back, and I've done it ever since. So you just take the icing and the marzipan off it, so you've just got the block of cake.
Yeah.
And if you have that cake with the cheese and the crackers, It is awesome.
I bet it is actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. It goes so well together. That's a top tip for any listeners out there. It's probably a bit late now, given it's Christmas Eve, but next year, or if you see any Christmas cake on sale.
Well, one of those kind of, the meals that you make when you're alone. Those kind of.
Yeah, no, it works. You just put a slab, just a bit of cake on the cheese board, and just go try that. And I bet you'll do it every single time because it's really good.
Well, I have the cinnamon and raisin bagels with a slice of cheese on them.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, it really does work, and I can't shout about it enough. It's really good.
There you go, listeners. Email us, let us know what you think of James's Christmas cake with cheese. So, James, after your Christmas dinner's done and everything's settled down, the dishes are on the side waiting for someone to wash them. What do you do next? Is it a movie?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I do the cooking,
Right.
and I tend to do the washing up. And the reason being is that my partner's family live quite nearby.
Right.
So they come over in the afternoon, and it's my way of not having to talk to them. So I just go into the kitchen and close the door, put on a good podcast, and
podcast,
yeah, like this one, and then do all the stuff. So I do the dishes, and then the grandparents can mess about with the kids, and and whatever. And then when all that's done, I come back in. This is usually around about sort of 5-ish in the evening by now.
Yeah.
It's quite exhausting for me, actually.
Have you noticed, and this was probably more as a child than an adult, Christmas Day is the longest day of the year?
It is, but that's because I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. Yeah. And I don't go to bed till 3:30 in the morning on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very long day.
And I think you eat your Christmas dinner quite early as well. So you think it's about 8 o'clock and it's like 5.
We tend to have ours around about sort of when the Queen's on.
Right. Yeah.
So around about 3 o'clock, just so we don't have to watch the Queen. Well,
you won't have to this year.
Well, that'll be interesting. Was it a King's speech last year? It must have been.
Must have been, because
she didn't die this year, did she?
No.
Oh well.
I think it was. I've never watched the Queen's speech or the King's speech.
No, I haven't. Like I said, we're 3 o'clock. We're eating, so I'm not having them disturbing my food.
And I know what you do. So what you do is you go, we'll eat when the telly's shit. So the Queen's speech is on, or the King's speech. So now we'll turn the telly off and eat.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
turn it back on when Home Alone or the Griswolds is on or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we tend to do. So like, I'll end up eat around about 3 o'clock, and then I'll go in and wash up for reasons I've just stated. Yeah. When I've done all that, the kids are usually exhausted by then. I'll come back in, and then we all just sit down and we watch telly. And now my partner's mum, it's kind of like my mother-in-law. We're not married, but we've been together for so long, it might as well be.
Yeah.
She's quite into her soaps, so we'll end up watching Emmerdale and Corrie. And then they'll usually sort of bugger off after that. And then, we'll just pop a film on, like, my favourite, Die Hard. Die Hard's my favourite Christmas film. I know there's some debate as to whether it is a Christmas film, which perhaps has been done to death, and maybe we should do that another day. It's that or Elf, or the usual suspects. I
have to admit, I've never seen Die Hard.
You what?
I've never seen it. And do you know I've never seen a James Bond film either?
What? Oh my god, man!
I know.
Like, Die Hard is perhaps one of my favourite films, regardless of whether it's a Christmas film or not. So that's a must this year. So when you've got all this time off over the next couple of week and a half or whatever, just watch Die Hard. Just watch it tonight on your own. It's that good. It's that good.
I'll give it.
And the Bond films, I mean, the earlier ones are just cheesy as fuck, but the Daniel Craig ones, they're like actually really good films. Really good.
I started to watch one with my dad and then lost interest, I'll be honest. But no, I've watched some of Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's the second one.
Didn't we watch that together?
I think so. When
you've seen that one.
When he has to walk about with a sign saying "I hate black people."
Yeah.
I've seen some of that one.
Yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson. That's a really good one. Like the second one's a bit sort of they try to do what they did in the first one.
Yeah.
It works. It's kind of good, but the first one's an absolute classic. Alan Rickman in that film is just the best bad guy. You've got to watch it over the holiday period.
I'll give it a go.
So yeah, and then that's our day really.
Mhm.
We were all worn out by that point. Kids
Yeah.
go to bed, and then I just put my feet up and finish off my Johnny Walker that somebody usually gifts me. Not finish off, I'll be dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't really drank much for the last couple of years. Mainly because it's just life's so busy and the kids are so much hard work and stuff like that sometimes by the time I sit down at night, it's 11 o'clock, I look at this bottle of Jack Daniels I've had for about 18 months and think, do you know what, I can't even be bothered pouring one.
Yeah.
But I will drink on Christmas. It's weird. I find Christmas Day is a day that, for all you drink all day, you don't actually get pissed because you're eating all day and you're busy all day, and you just kind of you have this wonderful sort of fantastic drunk all day where you're never actually drunk.
You kind of sort of balance it out, I think. So you start getting a bit drunk, and then you just end up eating loads of food, and then you're so full up, you start drinking a bit more, and it's kind of this kind of like scale. This sort of scales between sort of being full and being drunk, and by the end of the day, you're just absolutely done. Yeah,
and then you just can't move, can you?
Yeah. I mean, that's happened a few times where you're literally just so full of booze and food, just end up sat on the couch. Yeah, I can't even be bothered going to bed. You know.
But my Christmas films, the Griswolds is number one. Griswold's
That's a classic
Vacation, and
It's
a lot of it, just Clark Griswold kind of reminds me of my dad in a lot of ways, and reminds me a bit of myself now, actually, as I've started to get older. And
there's a little bit of Clark in everyone, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've fallen off the roof putting the Christmas lights up and stuff like that, and I could show you a picture of the 28 plugs I've got plugged into one adapter here and stuff like that, just trying to make it good for the kids.
Such a great character, because essentially we're all just winging it, aren't we? And that's what that brings out, I think. You just watch this guy and you think, he's just winging this. But then you sort of reflect on your own life and go, I'm just winging this as well, actually. He
kind of absorbs everyone else's hassle, doesn't he? And like tries to just deal with it himself. And you can tell all he wants is a bit of peace. So he's never stops working because he's just craving this bit of peace that he never gets.
Yeah. It's a great film, that one.
Yeah.
Right, so that was an insight into our Christmases. I hope you all have a wonderful time yourselves. But Fraser, as it's Christmas Eve, and I won't get to see you on Christmas Day because, you know, we've all got our own commitments.
Yeah.
I've bought you a couple of gifts, actually.
A couple of gifts, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's the most dangerous podcast, so don't open them too quickly. I think one of them is a World War II bomb. So,
right, here we go. What's the first one you've got me?
Go on, then you're going to open.
A slip and slide.
That's right. Slip and slide. You must have seen these before.
I've seen them. Not really ideal for December, but I've seen these, yes.
I was going to say that. You can put it in your garage until summer. And,
we kind of made one of these in the garden with a bit of DPM for wood flooring, and there's still like a trench across my grass.
So, I mean, for people who aren't aware of a slip and slide, so it's a children's toy. It was invented by a chap called Robert Carrier, manufactured by a company called Whammo. And Whammo, they deal with outside toys like frisbees and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's an old school toy. It was first sold in 1961. The one that I gave you is a recent one, so don't worry.
Right.
It's definitely fully functional.
Excellent.
And everybody's seen this because you see them in like these frat party films or something like that. You know, like it's basically just a long sheet of thin plastic.
Yeah. Jackass.
Yeah. You just lay it on the floor, There's like tubes running along the side of this bit of plastic, and you connect like a garden hose to the tube. So everything's in the instructions, Fraser, so you don't have to.
Okay, no, that's cool. Yeah.
So basically, you just plug a hose into the side of it, and then that'll spray water onto this sort of bit of plastic, and then the surface, the flat lying bit on the ground, becomes really, really slippery.
Right. Is it worth adding some fairy liquid to it?
I think it's slippery enough, actually. Yeah? I think the actual plastic's been treated with some
right,
so it's extra slippy.
And then so you just take a run up and just feck yourself down this thing and
throw yourself down. If you can put it on a hill, it's even better because you just you go flying.
Wow.
I mean, there are some variations of it. I mean, some newer ones do have like swimming pools at the end, and you can just sort of slide. I haven't got the money to buy you one of them. I just got you the basic one.
Yeah, this it looks very basic, but thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I should warn you though, it's quite dangerous. Actually,
is it dangerous?
Yeah.
How is it dangerous?
Well, it's for children. So yeah, it's for 13-year-olds and not adults. But,
right.
I mean, maybe your kids should use it. It's not dangerous for them. The problem is that if you run and take a dive onto this, you might suddenly just stop. Maybe it's not damp enough. Maybe it's not wet enough.
Oh, right.
You know? And if you stop, maybe you're sliding on your feet or on your tummy or whatever. And if you just stop, then it could cause you some serious injury.
Deal. That sounds dangerous.
It is, yeah. And in fact, so like I say, it was released in 1961. Now I've got some stats between 1973 and 1991.
Right.
A 13-year-old and 7 adults suffered neck injuries or paralysis.
Wow.
While using this toy.
Actually, like paralyzed.
Yeah.
I was going to say for life, but it usually is, isn't it?
It usually is. Yeah. So I mean, the manufacturers have tried to sort of sidestep this risk,
right?
Because they do. If you look on the box, it does say that the toy is only for children.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, it's kind of very subtle there. You know,
so are children? Is it okay if they get hurt, or is it? I mean, how come adults get hurt but not
because
children?
when you it's the weight of the adult basically.
Right.
So just don't let a fat kid go on it. so yeah, because the weight of the adult sort of stops the plastic sort of gets stuck in the ground basically, and the adult just suddenly stops. Whereas kids generally are lighter, so they'll just kind of fly down this thing.
That's mad because whenever I see slip and slide videos, it's always adults I see on them.
It's always pissed people, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what happens in 1987. A chap called Michael Hubert. He lived in Wisconsin. Is that how you say that? Wisconsin. He had a couple of beers and he used his neighbour's slip and slide. He ended up suffering from a broken neck.
Got it.
Yeah, he was 34 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read this because I did kind of just lift it on the internet, but it sounds really bad. So it says the 34-year-old was left and let me start again. The 34-year-old was left an incomplete paraplegic. I mean, that sounds like a bit of a diss, but it's pretty harsh. Basically, what that means is he had limited ability to walk and use his hands. But I just don't like the phrasing of that.
He paralysed himself wrong.
That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? Yeah. It's just, I didn't like that at all. But basically, he broke his neck and he couldn't walk, or he had limited ability to walk. He actually ended up suing the company that made
that's annoying, really, that someone could sue a slip and slide company for getting hurt.
Wait till you find out how much he got for it. So he ended up suing the company, right? And I mean, I don't want to get sued. As far as I'm aware, he had a couple of beers and he just threw himself down this slide and broke his neck because he was a bit too heavy, and the slide stopped. He went right. The company offered him $250,000.
Right.
He rejected that. So the case went to trial, and he ended up being awarded $12.3 million.
$12.3 million.
Yeah, I mean,
Because he's an idiot.
yeah, it did change his life, I suppose. I think at the time there wasn't that warning that's on your box saying if you're not a kid, don't use it.
Right.
I think it was just more of a free for all. But it was declared in that case that it was the slip and slide was defective and unreasonably dangerous.
Right.
And that was at the time, that's 1987. In 1988, a Florida student, University of Central Florida. So let me start that again. Sorry. In 1988, a University of Central Florida student named Robert Goldstein, he also broke his neck on one of these slides.
Right.
He sued as well, and he was awarded $1.6 million in 1995. Yeah, so I think that's probably
They have a cheaper lawyer.
maybe. Well, he's a student; he can't afford a lawyer.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, maybe they did something with the warning on the box or
Right.
something like that. I don't have all the facts here, but essentially, if you're not a kid, don't use it, and enjoy. I hope you've got life insurance.
I actually am quite well insured. I'm.
All right, that's why I bought you that.
Yeah, my family would be much better off with me dead.
Yeah. If you
Genuinely.
put me down as beneficiary, I'll,
Okay, yeah, I'll sort that out for you. The suing culture, the suing thing, I don't really like, because I think that people always seem to try and, whenever something happens, it's whose fault is it? It's always whose fault
who's
is
to
it?
blame? And like it always seems to be like, well, maybe. I suppose the big cases that come to light are because the person suing has won.
Yeah.
So, but there must be occasion, like, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. That he's sued because he's been an idiot and he's thrown himself down this slide. And I suppose that's why it's a big deal, because everyone's looking at it going, "Fucking hell, what a dick."
See, was he drunk? Did you say?
As far as I'm aware, he had a couple of beers. Yeah,
So I think as soon as he's had a couple of beers, he should lose that case, because he's inebriated or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so.
No,
I mean,
shouldn't be.
12.3 million for throwing yourself down a slide.
Awful lot of money, yeah.
Tempting.
So, I know. I got this. I haven't got it anymore because I couldn't afford it. But I had 3 insurance policies: a life insurance policy for like 800 grand or something. If I die, then Laura and the kids are sound. I had one where if I'm off work for a long period of time, it pays my wages.
Yeah.
And I had another one that was like a one-off. So if I get cancer, I get like 80 grand straight away.
Yeah.
There you go. And I was looking at one, loss of finger or toe, I think was 12 grand. And I'm thinking,
times are hard.
If I put a new blade on the chop saw, I don't reckon you would feel it that much. It'd be quite a clean...
who needs a pinky?
Yeah, pinky. So this year, we're going to go on holiday, so that's one pinky. Next year.
Yeah, need a new car. That's the other
another
pinky.
That's 2 pinkies. I mean, the next finger, do you really use? I think you use three fingers.
I think they
2
might
fingers
start
in
to get a bit suspicious. It's like, Mr.
I know,
Smiley,
yeah.
this is now 3 fingers that you lost.
Yeah. We're going to take the chop saw away, Mr. Smiley. But no, the slip and slide, that sounds quite dangerous.
It does, yeah. So just when you get it out in the summer, I'll be over for a barbecue and for one of them pizzas because they were fit. Yeah, we'll get the slide out. Just don't go on it.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, don't get pissed, don't go on it. As an adult, unfortunately, I'm no longer 13. So yeah, I'll have to give it a miss. Or not sue if I get killed or something.
Yeah.
Do you know, another thing, this is the suing culture. It really annoys me that you can't buy... If you buy a paddling pool for your kids, the paddling pool's ruined by all this black writing all over it saying there's a fair chance your kid will die playing in this paddling pool in about 100 different languages. And it kind of...
I don't know if it says that.
It
There's a
spoils
fair
it.
chance you will die.
if you're
sure
not
that's
watching
quite
your
the
kid
wording.
all the time, but it's just covered in all this writing, and that's to save them being sued.
Yeah.
But I think there's an element of natural selection in this. I think if we stop, bottles of bleach don't drink, stuff like that. I say take all the labels off things like that, and 40, 50
See who
years
lives.
from now, we'll have a much more intelligent society.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you drank bleach. Good.
Yeah, that fucking serves you right.
I just felt the world get a bit lighter.
Someone that drinks bleach is never going to be a president, or
Yeah.
What
What good is he to society if he's going around drinking bleach?
Anyway, so
James,
I've got a present for you. Here you go.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's a Gilbert Atomic Energy Laboratory. Just what I've always wanted.
It is, James. Yes, Gilbert Atomic Energy Laboratory.
Yes.
I've managed to pick one of these up on eBay for you because these actually date back to the 1950s.
Oh, right. The Cold War.
The Cold War, yeah. So, do you remember, at any stage in your life, did you ever get like a little chemistry set?
Yeah. Do you know what? I was going to mention this. Yeah, I did. Yeah. It had like little strips of magnesium in it.
Yeah.
And then you get, what is it? Sodium? Is that salt? Isn't it?
Sodium, yeah.
Sodium something. And then you'd get like these test tubes of stuff, and it'd be like sodium. You're like, woo.
And there was the one that would like dye the ceiling yellow when you burnt it and stuff.
Yeah. And my dad was well into his chemistry, and he got me one, like with a Bunsen burner and stuff. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, see, me and my sister, we were given one and ruined the kitchen worktop.
Yeah.
Well, this is the 1950s equivalent, and it was a kit. It was created by Alfred Carlton Gilbert, who was actually an American athlete, magician, toy maker, businessman, and inventor.
So his finger in a lot of pies. Did he not think that, nuclear stuff was quite dangerous?
Well, I don't know if it was, you said it was the Cold War time. I think maybe he was thinking, let's start them young, learning how to fuck about with nuclear stuff. Yeah, make a bomb.
Make a nuclear bomb. Let's get the kids doing it.
Start chucking them at Cuba. He was also the inventor of the well-known Erector set.
What's that?
The Erector set. And I wanted to just leave it there, but you've asked me what is it. It's basically like a type of Meccano.
Oh, right. It sounds like some sort of sex toy.
Set. Yeah, an Erector set.
Yeah.
I'm going to build my erection. But yeah, so Gilbert basically believed that toys were the foundation in building a solid American character. So, his toys were very educational and stuff. The Atomic Energy Lab, basically, it contained a clouds chamber, allowing the viewer to watch alpha particles travelling at 12,000 miles per second.
Fucking hell. I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's basically mucking about with radioactive stuff.
Yeah. Like in your house.
In your house, yeah. There was a spinthariscope showing the results of radioactive disintegration on a fluorescent screen, an electroscope measuring the radioactivity of different substances in the set. And back then, it actually sold for $49.50, which is equivalent to £600 now.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's a posh kid toy.
So, yeah, that is a posh kid's toy, isn't it? I mean, who's got that sort of money?
Now, you ready? This is what it contained. It contained a Geiger counter, an electroscope.
Is that the thing that goes like...
Yeah.
It's a clicky thing.
Counts the radiation.
Yeah. Why would it need one of them?
Because it contained an electroscope, a spinthariscope, the Wilson cloud chamber with short-lived alpha source in the form of a wire.
Right.
4 glass jars containing natural uranium-bearing U-238 ore samples.
What? Wait. Uranium?
Yep. Uranium, yeah.
That's
natural uranium.
Do you know? Have you ever seen Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, I got confused. It's plutonium that he charges the
I thought it was uranium, wasn't it?
I'm sure it's plutonium.
Is it?
Well, I don't know, but whatever it is, And whatever this is, it's nasty shit.
I'm sure they use uranium in the nuclear power plants.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
Homer
yeah.
Simpson goes on about it.
Yeah, uranium in the nuclear power plants, plutonium for time travel.
Don't mix them up. You'll blow your car up. It's got some low-level radiation sources, some beta alpha, pure beta, gamma. It's got nuclear spheres for making a model of an alpha particle.
Whoa.
And it's got obviously a manual. It's got a comic book introduction to radioactivity.
Yeah, because this is funny.
A book about prospecting for uranium, so you can go and find your own. And
Why would you want to do that?
and 3 C batteries. That's why it's so expensive. You've seen the price of a C battery is about $5 each now.
Are those the square ones?
No, the big round ones, big. Big.
Why do you need the
cylinder
batteries
things.
for the Geiger counter?
Geiger counter, probably, yeah.
Jeez.
So basically, in short, it's a little kit for kids to muck about with radiation.
A little radioactive kit to sterilise all those young children.
Yeah. Control the growth of America, isn't it? But
Shit. That
here's
is heavy stuff, man.
here's something that says, amongst other activities, the kit suggested playing hide and seek with the gamma ray source, challenging players to use the Geiger counter to locate a radioactive sample that's been hidden in a room.
No way. That's insane.
Now, you gave me some wonderful stories of people that have been injured and hurt and stuff with your toy that you've given me. There isn't actually any recorded incidents with this kit. But the reason they actually banned it is it's
because it's
really
fucking
hard to tell.
radioactive.
Yeah,
that's why.
That's it. I mean, years later, there could have been couples not able to have children and not knowing why. People that started to get a receding hairline at 14 because they've been
There's doctors there going, did you
messing
ever
about
have one of
with it.
those radioactive things when you were a child?
Why's my kid got 7 arseholes? You know?
Yeah, 3 arms. Like.
But yeah, I had to give you one because, you know, I know, like I said, I haven't got a long list of people who have been hurt by it, but God, that's dangerous, surely.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'm starting
Surely.
to feel a bit ill, actually, after opening that.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of your hair started falling out.
Yeah. It seems to have sprouted some, like, a third arm out the side of my body.
That'd be high. I could use a third arm, actually. That'd be quite handy.
No hair and a third arm. Well, thank you, Fraser.
No problem, enjoy.
I think... I'm not sure. That'll probably go in the loft.
Yeah.
And then, you know...
Keep your loft warm.
Keep the loft warm, and then maybe in like 3,000 years' time, when it hasn't degraded in any way, like future generations will find this like uranium. All right, well, thanks for that, Fraser. As I say, I'll hide that away somewhere so the kids don't find it. So I've got just one final gift for you because it's Christmas. I was feeling pretty generous.
Okay.
So here you go.
Lawn darts.
Yes, lawn darts.
Another-
Have you heard of lawn darts before?
I actually have, yeah. Thanks for giving me another
Have you really?
garden toy in December.
Well, I know you're very outdoorsy.
I've heard of lawn darts, but I don't know a lot about them. Are they dangerous?
Okay. Well, it's a game for 2 people or 2 teams.
2
if
teams,
you like.
right? Okay.
Yeah. So you can play it again with your kids. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. You should see in the box there. There's 4 large darts.
Yeah,
each.
these are massive. Yeah.
I'm not sure what colours got. I think they're usually sort of red and yellow or something like that, or red and blue. It's basically darts. It's a similar sort of concept to darts. Or did you ever play that game with the horseshoe where you kind of sort of throw it on a pole? Sort of
Yeah. There's a name for it. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, it's like a really old-fashioned game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a cowboy game, isn't it? It's a similar sort of concept.
Right.
So the darts that you see there, they're 12 inches long,
big.
so 30 centimetres. The big fuckers.
Quite heavy.
Like, big bastards.
Quite heavy.
Yeah. They're weighted at the end like normal darts. Should have 3 plastic fins on the end of them. And basically, all you need to do is there's 2 targets in the box as well.
Okay.
So all you need to do when you get a chance when it's not snowing, you put the targets on the floor,
Okay.
and using your underarm, you throw the dart into the air as high as possible. Sounds so safe. And the weight on the front of that should sort of pull it round.
Right.
And the idea is you hit the target with the dart.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty straightforward.
Yeah. There's no chance of any accidents happening. Throwing
Well-
giant darts in the air. No.
I mean, how old's your youngest again?
3.
Yeah, there's no chance then.
No.
Of course, there's a chance because it's a really stupid idea, isn't it? Like,
It is. Yeah.
if you're randomly throwing heavy, large darts into the air, there's a potential that they're going to fall on somebody's head.
See, I thought that lawn darts you would throw like a javelin away out in front of you. So nobody go that end of the garden, we're chucking the darts. But you're telling me you throw them up high in the air.
That's what I've read, yeah. You go underarm and you sort of like throw them up, so it loops
Right.
up and down.
So you can let them
Because
go.
if you throw them like a javelin, it's going
Yeah.
to go in sort of sideways into the target, isn't it? So if you loop them up underarm, the idea is the weight carries the dart down to hit it like a
Right.
dartboard.
So you
Right.
let go a second too slow, and they're coming back down where you're standing.
Well, yeah, it takes a bit of practice.
Yeah.
So maybe do it without the kids first.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I say, there is potential there for it to land on someone's head. Just like it did on April 5th, 1987, when 7-year-old Michelle Snow was killed by a lawn dart thrown by one of her brother's playmates in the backyard of their home in Riverside, California.
Dear God.
So the dart went up, came down, penetrated her skull,
Shit.
and caused a massive brain trauma.
Ugh. I can
So
understand the massive brain trauma.
yeah, so it just basically went in the top of her head and killed her.
Jesus.
It's just stupid that who thought this was a good idea? Like, you're throwing big spikes. you mentioned javelin
Yeah.
before, and I remember doing javelin in high school,
Mhm.
and that was scary enough. You've got like
No, I know.
13, 14-year-old people throwing these big poles around, like into a field where no one's there. This is like, imagine like a crowded sort of back garden. You said like, you've got loads of children and stuff, and
Yeah.
if someone just throws something up and not be looking, of course it's going to cause some damage. It's absolutely just ridiculous. Now Michelle Snow's father,
Mhm.
David Snow, he was obviously pissed off, as you would
Mhm.
be, for want of a better word. So he began to advocate a ban on the darts, claiming that there was no way to keep children from accessing these darts. If they're about,
Yeah.
kids are somehow going to get them. And then partially because of his lobbying to US Congress, and this is America, as you know, on the December 19th, 1988, the Product Safety Commission introduced an outright ban on law darts in the US.
Right.
I don't have the UK figures. I'm pretty sure they're banned here as well.
Oh,
But yeah, in the previous 8 years, so 8 years before they were banned, 6,100 Americans had visited hospital emergency rooms as a result of lawn dart accidents. This is a children's toy. This is a kid's toy.
oh,
Now, 81% of those visits,
Yeah.
those accidents, were 15 years or younger,
Jesus.
and half of them were 10 years or younger.
A load of kid kebabs in the hospital.
Totally,
Yeah.
yeah. And during the week when that commission voted, so there's this lobbying, and then they were making the decision. Now, during that week, an 11-year-old girl in Tennessee, she was also hit by a lawn dart and fell into a coma.
Bloody hell. See, this is me being grumpy and stuff, but I go back to the parents. I think nowadays, well, I think back then as well, parents buy toys and they just think, well, it's a toy, it must be safe. But
Yeah.
parents shouldn't, even if it's sold as a toy, shouldn't be letting their kids knock about in the garden with these things. I would.
Well, that's true. I mean, I think I cut this bit out.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can find it. I think in this case, in the Michelle Snow case, I think it was bought as part of a kit,
Right.
like a, you know, sometimes you get these sort of garden play kits, and it's got like rounders or cricket and like it's balls, bats and balls, and you play 100 games with these things. I'll have to sort of, don't quote me on this, I'll have to double check, but I think it was part of one of like a set like that, and it just had these darts in it, and then it was in the garage, and then these kids just found this kit and went, oh, mint, let's do this. So I mean, I do get what you're saying. You know, you look at them and you think these just cannot be safe. There's just no way that these can be safe. I mean, even in 1997, so this is some years after they were initially banned, the CPSC, which is the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which initiated the ban back in 1988, they had to issue a reminder to say, look, by the way, these are insane toys, like, do not use them, because a 7-year-old was injured by a dart, which also pierced his skull.
Shit.
And then they just said, look, if you've got them, just get rid of them. But, so have fun with those.
But you could get a beanbag and throw it up in the air and see where it lands.
Well, exactly. Yeah. There's no need to have these. I mean, these days, so you can still get them, but they've been reimagined.
Right.
So now it's just like they're just weighted. There's no point on them.
Like a ball
no
on the
sharp
end or something.
Yeah. So you get these things that you just throw up, and then they've got a weight on them, and so you kind of, that's the reimagining of them. So there's no pointy spike. They're not darts anymore, basically, for good reason.
Yeah. Do you know my dad, when he was young, he had a steel ball that was not like tennis ball size, probably golf ball size, solid steel ball. And he always told me a story. He was in Ayr Town Centre, and it was quite busy, and he was throwing it up and catching it. And he decided to just feck it up in the air as hard and high as he could. Well, way up into the sky. But he lost track of where it went. He threw it up. And he just heard,
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's dangerous, isn't it?
and he said he just ran. Never heard that about it.
Caved someone's head in.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would hurt. Steel ball bearing just coming down on your head. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Remember we were shooting the marbles with the catapults, and that guy came running out. Was it marbles we were shooting? We got the catapults, and we were down the back path, and we were just fuzzing marbles for like miles.
Marbles?
And a guy came running out from one of the little paths, and he was like, "Hey, have you seen boys throwing stones?" And we said, "Yeah, they've just run into the woods over there." And he like ran over into the Duke's Drive, the woods.
That's quick thinking, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we were well rehearsed.
So that's your presents, Fraser. I hope you like them.
Thanks very much.
They are summer games, so at least you've got a good 6 months to live.
Yeah.
So
that's it. I'll break my neck on my slip and slide while the kids are murdering each other.
Kebabbing each other.
Well, James, I've got one more for you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I do like presents.
Here you go, James.
Ooh, a box of magnetics.
Magnetics, yes.
My favourite.
Magnetics.
What are they?
They're a construction toy. So as you can see on the box there, they're little long plastic pieces with little metal, steel ball bearings.
Right.
And the ball bearings themselves and the little sticks are actually magnetic. So,
oh, great! I love magnets.
Yeah, these are.
I don't want to say I love them, but they're a bit weird.
They are a bit weird. Yeah, it's like a kind of it's just weird how they like to stick
Just
together.
how does it happen?
So what you do is you get the little sticks and put the ball bearings on the ends of the sticks, and then you can add another stick to the ball bearing and start making triangles and squares out of them and build some nice bridges and towers and stuff. What a fun toy.
That's my Boxing Day sorted.
Yeah,
Thank
there
you.
you go. You can build like the Empire State Building and stuff like that and out of them. But what you don't want to do is start swallowing them like a lot of children were doing.
Oh no.
Yeah, because the tiny little ball bearings, with them being magnetic, they're quite tempting for kids to put in their mouths.
Yeah, of course. Like kids like little things, don't
Definitely,
they?
yeah.
It seems that it's weird that with kids, isn't it? Like a default position to put things in their mouth.
Oh yeah, they
I mean,
find something. What's this? This is weird. I'm going to put it in my mouth. and see what it
Yes, it's like that's the last place to put it. Like, you know.
Yeah. Although I still put things in my mouth. Laura will tell you that she said she'd never known someone that in 1 month could get a staple through their tongue 3 times.
What? How have you stapled your tongue 3
chewing
times?
staples, and then it goes through your
Oh
tongue.
no, you can't. I can't.
But
Why? But you know, staples are
not
don't
for
do that
chewing.
anymore. Not for chewing. Yeah.
But no, I mean Teddy's 3 now. He's still bad for putting stuff in his mouth. You can tell there's an expression on his face, and it's like, "What's in your mouth, Teddy?"
So what happens if the children actually swallow these things?
Well, if they swallow them, they make their way down through the stomach and stuff, and then into the intestines, which, as you know, is a long, thin tube that's it's not miles, is it? It's yards and yards and yards of this intestine.
Yeah. Surely it just comes out the other end, doesn't it?
Well, it would if you swallowed one of them. If you swallowed 2 of them, they meet each other in the intestine, but in different parts of the intestine, and the magnets then stick to each other
Oh no!
and create a blockage in your intestine,
Good
which can
Lord.
actually, the power of them can actually pierce the intestine wall, which
Bloody
causes
hell,
obviously
really?
infections and bleeding and stuff like that, and death. Yeah,
Death
yeah, it can cause death.
from swallowing magnets.
Absolutely, yeah.
Goodness me.
So yeah. So magnetics, and they've not actually been banned. They've put warnings on the box.
Yeah, this seems to be the case with a lot of these crazy toys.
Oh.
They just kind of like, who would have thought that toy manufacturers were kind of like only interested in their best interests and not the child's best interests? How weird, eh?
Yeah, that's strange, isn't it?
But the thought of, just going back to this, the
Mhm.
thought of that must be so painful. Like if you swallow a couple of magnets and basically your insides are just getting twisted
Oh yeah.
because of the magnetic force, I suppose,
Mhm.
like in you. That's horrible.
See, it's not like a quick death, like a lawn dart to the brain. This is like, you probably have the kid complaining to their parents for days. Oh, I've got a bellyache, and parents go, "Fuck off! You've always got a bellyache."
Again.
Of course,
Get into school.
Sunday night, of course, you got a fucking bellyache. But yeah, I mean, this isn't like a fast death. This is agony and surgery and stuff like that. And,
Oh god! But if it goes so far, like surgery on like intestines, I suppose, must be very, very difficult.
it's very dangerous because the intestine's full of bacteria.
Yeah, and it's right. It's proper in your gut, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
You'd have to go in deep.
It's literally full of shit, isn't it?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
But the first recall was actually issued after the death of a small child and 4 serious injuries requiring surgery.
God, and these things are still on the shelf.
They're still about, yeah. They're still about. In 2007, they recalled over 4 million sets. But like I said, they are still about. They've changed them a little bit.
Yeah, they've rebranded it. You fool.
Yeah, they've given them a different name. But they reckon at least 1,500 incidents were reported from.
And 4 million sets were recorded. 4 million.
I know, yeah.
Jeez, imagine if we get 4 million followers.
I know. I'd love to sell 4 million of something.
Yeah, just for £1.
know.
Like that'll do me for life.
Now it doesn't say it here, but I actually thought they should put that. Like the little disc batteries that keep killing kids. They've started putting that nail biting stuff on, so they taste horrible.
Oh yeah, I think that they did that to like Nintendo Switch games,
Yes.
I think, didn't they?
I noticed that because I was holding a game in my mouth when I was doing something with Murray, and I go, "Oh, this tastes absolutely right."
yeah, they taste disgusting. Like, yeah.
So maybe
I don't know how I found out. I think I was doing the same thing. In fact, no, I tell a lie. I did hear.
Just
actually
bored one night licking your games.
Yeah, no, I think when it first came out, there was like some people were saying, "Oh yeah, don't lick them because they taste disgusting."
Yeah.
So me being me went, "Yeah, I'm gonna
Got
lick
to
it."
lick it. Do you know? You mentioned the square battery earlier. For the first time in ages, I actually had a 9-volt square battery. Guess what the first thing I did with it was?
Put your tongue
Put
on
my
it.
tongue on it, yeah. Oh, I was changing it in the smoke detector, that was it.
Standard.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. And then it's like, Teddy,
yeah,
you come here.
You do that. I do that all the time. Like, you know, not with like stuff like that, but like, you know, spicy crisps and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love. Do you want one of them?
Teddy quite likes spicy stuff. You can't get him with stuff like that. Have you had the peri peri pot noodle?
Yes, I have.
Really
I think the
quite
Bombay
hot.
Bad Boy is like stronger though, isn't
Is
it?
it?
Yeah, I think so.
Peri peri one's pretty fiery. Teddy eats that without flinching.
Really, I got these, and these like I think they're Walker's Max.
Oh yeah.
So the flavour has been around for a while, but they're sort of hard to find. Jalapeno and cheese.
Oh right, yeah.
And it's a really nice flavour. It's one of those where like you eat loads and then you go, oh, eat a few. Oh, that's so spicy. Then after about 5 minutes, when the heat wears off, you're like, they're nice actually. So yeah, I'd give my daughter one of them the other day. She's like, so spicy.
Do you remember Doritos did the roulette? Some of them were cheese, and the odd one was like really, really hot.
Oh yeah.
I was a bit pissed, and I ate a big sharing bag of them once, and forgot about it. And the next afternoon, when I went to the toilet, oh my god.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't mind spicy food going in.
Yeah, it's the next day.
Out.
Yeah. God, it was bad. So there you go. There's your...
Thanks for the magnets. I'll make sure I don't eat them.
Enjoy your Christmas, everyone. So yeah, there's your presents. I hope you enjoy.
Wonderful, best Christmas ever.
Wow, yeah, go and play with your nuclear thing and make your kids taste the magnets. I had a look at just a couple other little toys that were dangerous while I was looking at this, and I know you've done a bit of research as well. What about the Aquadots?
Aquadots, yeah, I did have a look into those as well. They were coated in GHB.
GHB, yeah, also known as the date rape drug.
Yeah. So basically, Aquadots are, you'd have a square thing, I suppose, which you put the dots in, and you make a pattern or like a shape out of it, and then they were coated with this thing. You spray them with water, and they all stick together.
That's it, yeah.
But the only problem was,
well, it was GHB, yeah. Now, apparently, I've been sedated at the dentist, and apparently that is the same stuff, and it was quite a nice experience. So I was tempted to go and suck some aqua beads and see if I chill out a little bit. Yeah,
I think there's perhaps easier ways to get hold of GHB if you really, really wanted to.
Yeah, but it doesn't look good if you're knocking about asking someone if they've got some GHB, does it?
Well, that's true. Yeah. If you're knocking around asking someone for some aqua beads,
true.
It might be worse.
But a couple other special mentions: toy crossbows that shoot real toothpicks.
Yeah. Did you see the kite tube? That was quite a good
kite
one.
tube. I did see that. Go on, James. Explain the kite
tube. So it's basically an inflatable kite. It's quite big, isn't it? I think you're talking sort of 7-8 foot across, and you tie it to the back of a boat, and you just sit on it. And because it's sort of it's inflatable, so as the boat goes along, air gets under this kite, and you're sat on this thing that it goes up into the air, basically,
and spins round, flips over, smashes you against the water.
Yeah, and it can go up to like 3 stories. That's how long the wire is. if you've got a 6-year-old sat on that, then it just flips over like 3 stories height. Well, that's just crazy. But I think you can still get this. Actually, I think it's still available.
They're just crazy ideas. There was a Barbie, a rollerblading Barbie, and to make the sparks come at the back of her rollerblade, it had one of the rollers from like a lighter.
Yeah, like a flint.
A flint, yeah. And kids were rollering that across the legs of their shell suits and setting themselves on fire. It's like those, the Halloween costumes and the Disney costumes, or all these kids going up in flames because they went too near their mum's cigarette and stuff.
I know, it's bad.
Mental kids' toys, and some of these are quite recent,
Yeah, that kite tube's quite recent.
Do you remember?
Like aqueducts, I'm pretty sure my kids had some aqueducts. I mean, they might have redone them since.
I'd like to think they've stopped using GHB.
Yeah, you'd hope so. There must be other things they can use, but I'm pretty sure that they've had some.
Mental stuff out there. The hoverboards that were going on fire, burning people's houses down, and crazy toys.
Yeah, we need a real hoverboard.
Yeah. So that was a wee grumpy bit, a wee dangerous bit at the end of our Christmas podcast.
Right. So this is it. This is Christmas.
It's Christmas.
2023, Christmas Eve. Nearly Christmas Day because it's getting late.
How have we got to 2023? Bloody hell.
This year's gone so fast, I think.
I know.
And Christmas has just come around so quickly. But this is, it's kind of weird because I am really looking forward to Christmas this year because it feels like it's the first one for quite a while that's perhaps a bit normal. So 2019, and then you had COVID. That was just complete write-off. Yeah. Even that year, the following year, it was a bit sort of and ahhing. And then even last year, there was all this kind of like cost of living, and people were struggling, and people still are struggling. But I think that perhaps this year, I hope, will be the first one that feels a bit normal.
Yeah,
again.
hopefully.
And I think that perhaps it should be mentioned because I know that like we've had a laugh talking about this, talking about Christmas and what we do and things like that. And I know that a lot of people don't enjoy Christmas, and there's a lot of people who perhaps don't have family members to enjoy it with, and perhaps don't have children to enjoy it with. So for those people, if they are listening, do remember that there are charities and people that you can speak to because it does get quite difficult for some people this time of year. Everyone else is having fun and they're just left on their own. So, there are certain charities like the Samaritans or maybe Shelter if you're struggling for accommodation that, you can speak to. Or even if you wanted to, drop us an email and we'll happily speak to you.
Yeah, we'll listen.
We'll always listen. Yeah. Just stay safe. Enjoy it best you can. And happy Christmas to everyone.
Yeah, well said, James. I always think that the hardest thing to do is to admit that you're unhappy or alone or just needing someone to talk to. But as hard as it is, as soon as you do it, it'll be the best thing you've ever done. And
Absolutely.
You'll be made up that you've done it. So yeah. Anyway, enjoy your Christmas.
On that note, happy Christmas, everyone.
Happy Christmas.
Goodwill to all men and women.
That's been the Most Dangerous Podcast, our Christmas special. It's been a pleasure as always, James. I hope you have a great day tomorrow with the kids, and I'll catch up with you soon.
And you, mate. Happy Christmas.
Bye, everyone. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas, pal. Bye-bye.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!